Did Ramentoy's cage set fix some of the issues with McFarlane Toys 89 Batmobile? Keep watching to find out on this episode of Geek Dad Life. All right, so I got this cage set directly from Ace when both of us were in Germany to see Spiel, War and Messe and see all the new toys from different toy companies out there. And he gave me this set. This is the one that is specifically for the more matte finish, the gold label 89 version of the Batmobile, not the Flash version of the Batmobile. And as you may or may not know, that is a more matte black finish to the Batmobile. Personally, I think this is the better of the two Batmobiles that McFarlane has released. But for anybody who has owned this Batmobile, there are a couple things that are lacking on it. For starters, you don't have the machine guns that pop up out of the top of the car. And the most glaring problem is that it is only a one-seater. And to accommodate for that one figure in this one seat, he made a larger canopy than you would see on an actual real 89 Batmobile. For me personally, it's not the end of the world, but it does change its classic silhouette, and it makes it look a little bit more awkward and not as sleek as the one we saw in the original Batman and Batman Returns films. All right, I've got all the pieces out of the cage set box, and I gotta say, I think Ace did a really good job color matching all of these accessories. I mean, he needed to for this set to be successful. The paint matching on the gas cans looks perfect. I mean, really, it looks like it was done from the factory. The same goes for the machine guns. All of the detail added to that, I think, looks absolutely fantastic. And then the canopy, it looks like it was literally made for this set, which again, I understand was the whole purpose of making this set from Ramen Toys. But, you know, sometimes you set out to do something and the result doesn't necessarily equal what you set out to do. But I think in terms of matching the look of the Batmobile that you're trying to upgrade, I think they did a fantastic job. But now comes probably the most difficult part, which is swapping out the canopy that your Batmobile comes with this new slimmer model. Now, a couple things to note. One is they probably made it taller so that it could fit the 6-inch Batman figure, or 7-inch Batman figure that McFarlane Toys makes, including the one that was packed with your gold label 89 set. So I'll be curious to see once this new slimmer canopy, more accurate canopy is in place, will it still be able to fit your McFarlane figures? For me, I don't mind. I'm not displaying the Batman inside of my Batmobile. I'm displaying him in front of the Batmobile, all of the awesome poster back from the 89 movie. So to me, I don't mind if it won't be able to fit, but I'll be curious to see if you can still fit the Batman inside. Another thing of note is Ace mentioned how some of the canopies that he had fit flush with the car, and some kind of flared out. So we'll see how this one fits on the actual Batmobile. Does it sit flush to the top as well as the sides? So we'll have to see how that plays out once we get this one on. Now, two of these accessories attach relatively easily. We have the guns, which he's made to kind of fit on to the vehicle and, you know, not going too violent with it, but actually attaches and holds on really well, almost like a Lego. So I think he did a really good job with that aspect. So you can actually move it around and the wheel and the guns won't fall off. So I think that was engineered really, really well. He kind of made these little, again, it kind of works like a Lego, and it attaches to it. So I think that was a brilliant piece of engineering for these little gun attachments. So love that. And then for the little gas cans, gas cans, but gas covers, at least I've always assumed that's what they are, gas covers. You have to take off this little 3M two-way tape and then attach it to the vehicle. I'm not going to do that just yet. I feel like I need to really do some studying to see exactly where it should be placed. I forgot that even the Toy Biz one had the sculpting for these little gas covers, and McFarlane just opted not to have them. I can kind of see why. It does break up the flow of the look of the Batmobile, but it is a part of the design that even the Toy Biz, which is not the most accurate 89 Batmobile ever, still gave us on their back fenders. All right, so let's do the most difficult thing, which is replacing this canopy, which does require me to unscrew the bottom, and there's another set of screws into the driver's seat that we have to do as well. All right, we have more screws to do. I think we have 3 here to take off the driver's seat assembly. Now, this part's really important. You need to make sure that you factor in the location of the switch mechanism because that's probably the most difficult part when you're putting it back together, to make sure this switch system is set up properly so it works when you screw it all back together. So let's see how that goes. All right, so there is his chair. All right, and now here's the switch mechanism. And just make sure, I need to remember the spring is on this side. So don't forget that. Spring is facing forward. I don't want to forget this little piece. Well, that's the button. That's the button. I'll take out our steering wheel, instrument cluster. And now we should be able to easily pull out the original canopy. Now just something, would like to see it side by side, removed. But you can tell it's a subtle change, but it does make a big difference. I mean, this one looks significantly better than the one it came with. All right, now I should be able to just put it through and then thread it in like that. And so far, it's sitting relatively flush. So maybe a little bit high up right here, but let's get it all assembled to see how it looks all put back together. All right, moment of truth. It's like pushing up just a little bit. Like I wonder if, because it sat more flush when there wasn't the seat attachment set in. So I wonder if there's something about, that seat pushing up on it a little bit. Maybe the spring is too springy or something. I feel like there's probably a way to make that sit more flush by working the seat in the bottom. Because that's what's pushing it up a bit. Because without it, if you remember, it sat more flush than this. But even still, even though it's flipping up just a little bit, I think the profile still looks better. I'll do some side-by-side videos of, or at least pictures before and after. And you all tell me what you think. But for me, the true test is how does it look with, the Batman action figure standing next to it. But the test for some might be how does it fit the actual Batman figure inside. So let's see. If now with the lower canopy, we are not able to fit the Batman figure that at least came with the 89 Batmobile sets. And it still fits. So if you want your figure inside the Batmobile, have no fear. It sits in there perfectly. So I wonder why they designed it to be higher, because it really, you didn't need to. So this does fix that problem. Issues with it not being 100% flush aside, I still think it does look better than the other one. But that's just my first kind of gut instinct take. I also think there's probably a way to, maybe I can loosen the slack or whatever on the screws for the seat so it sits maybe a little bit lower, possibly. And it doesn't push it up as much. Because I think that's the main difference here. is that. It's a little too spring. It's a little too firm, which pushes it up just ever so slightly. But even still, it looks like it's a part of this Batmobile. And the profile of it does look better. Now, this set is still available to order from Ramentoy's website. It is $19.89 US per set, which I love that price point here. So it's a really reasonable price for this upgrade. I think the quality of all the parts is fantastic. I think the paint application is great. I think the sculpting is great. Again, I think the engineering that went into fitting these machine gun parts is freaking awesome. He could have gone, a shortcut way and just had it sit over there, and it probably would have been fine. But the fact that he actually engineered it to actually snugly fit onto the car like a Lego piece, utilizing the top of the doors for those machine guns, I think is absolutely brilliant. So I love that aspect, love the paint applications on the machine guns themselves, as well as the gas can really matching the paint of the silver parts that are already on the vehicle really well. And then the paint matching on the canopy, it really does look like it came from the same factory. The only issue I would say is it not sitting perfectly along the bottom, and there being a bit of a ridge there to the new canopy on the Batmobile. I do think I could probably do some tweaking and adjustments to the car to make that sit a little bit more flush. But even still, just a quick assembly here, I do think it changes the profile for the better and makes it look more like the '89 Batmobile that we all know and love. And you can still fit your Batman figure inside of the Batmobile. So it doesn't fix the fact it's not a two-seater, no, but it does make it look more like that '89 Batmobile. So for $19.89, I think this definitely still gets the Geek Dad Life buy rating. I believe Ace said they are selling quick on these, so I'll put a link in the description below. So definitely pick one up if you are interested. He has the glossy version and the matte version, depending on which Batmobile you're trying to upgrade. But I think it's a pretty fair price for this upgrade. It's not, busting your bank to try and improve your Batmobile. And do you need it? No. But if you want to just drop a couple extra bucks to make your Batmobile look better, I think it's worth the pickup.